Hey there, welcome to my studio here in New York City. I'm Daniel Norton, photographer, and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about the philosophy of photography, we talk about technique, and sometimes we talk about gear. This series is going to be about gear. So years ago when I was a photo assistant, I worked for many photographers that did varying levels of work, all the way up to like massive national advertising and international advertising campaigns, all the ways down to corporate headshot. And some of the bigger people that I worked for, the ones that had lots and lots of stuff, would tell me, don't get bogged down in all the gear. Yes, my studio is full of stuff, but you don't need it to do a lot of the work you do, especially when you're first starting. And that was advice I definitely took to heart. Many assistants that worked with me were afraid to get started because they didn't have enough stuff. So, of course, over time, as always, I have built up more and more gear. And recently I've been thinking to myself, what do I really use? There is that saying that, right, 20% of your stuff does like 80%. I would say probably 10% of my stuff does 95%. So today I'm going to talk about, and in this series of videos, I'm going to talk about minimalizing because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of some of the stuff I don't use and I'm focusing on the stuff I do to create better work. So we're going to start with lights because I'm a lighting guy, right? So I'm going to talk about strobes. In this case, believe it or not, this small little backpack is the kit that I do about 90 to 95% of my work with. Now, I do a lot of live streaming, of course, for Adorama, and I use a lot of variety of gear there to show it off, but for my actual work that I do, and also even for those live streams, most of what I do is in this bag. So let's take a look. I'll show you what I have, why I have it, and what you might, I mean, you could get this exact stuff, obviously, but what might work for you. So let's just open it up and take a look. Now, you've probably heard the term three-point lighting. So whenever anybody asks me, Daniel, how many lights should I get? I usually say, well, you can't go wrong with 3, right? Three-point lighting doesn't always mean that you need 3 lights. Sometimes you might need more lights, sometimes you might need less, but 3 lights is a good place to start. So in my minimalist kit, that's what I've got. I have 3 lights by Profoto. They are Profoto B10s. B10s are 250 watt second portable battery powered lights. They can be plugged into the AC outlet to run. They can be used on some level as hot lights or video lights, which is useful for me. Clearly, I make videos. But really, I've got them because they're small and powerful for most things. Now, in this bag, I could easily fit 3. I actually only have 2. The other light I have in here is a Profoto A10. This is what they call a speed light or an on-camera flash or hot shoe flash, whatever you want to call it, small flash. The reason why I have this, and this is where your kit might vary from mine, is, well, partially because I teach a lot of photography, and one of the things I tell people is, if you're gonna have one flash, have a small flash, right? So I can't not have that. But the main reason for this light is because sometimes I'll throw this in my bag when I'm not taking anything else. I don't need a light stand for this, it can go on top of the camera. I can still fire it off camera if I want, obviously. And this can act as a trigger for my other light, so it gives me a backup, because backups are key. Even when you're being minimal, you still need backups. So let's take a quick look at what I have in here. You'll see it all fit inside the bag, and we'll go from there. As mentioned, Profoto A10. Speed light, goes on top of the camera, small, not super powerful, but I can stick it in many places, very useful. I have 2 Profoto B10s as mentioned. These are very small. You can see how small they are, right? This again can be hung in many places. It's battery power, so I can basically shoot in the street with it when I need to, and that happens a lot. And also I can plug them in and run them off the wall outlet if I'm going to do that all day. My bigger lights, which I'm phasing out, my Profoto B10x's, which are 500 watt seconds, are great, but they only run on battery, which means that I have to carry extra batteries with me, or I have to be worried my battery is going to run out, even when I'm in the studio, which is not something I want to deal with. In this case, I also have extra chargers and the remote, and I carry this cord. By the way, I will put a link, and if you're interested, follow the link in the description. It's going to go to effectively, you'll sign up for my mailing list. You can jump right off if you want, and when you do that, you'll be sent a PDF, which is going to have all the gear from this video, and also from the other minimalist videos I'm going to do in this first part of the series. There should be 3 of them. This is the first one I'm recording, so don't hold me to that, but there should be 3. I'm going to do lighting, cameras, and grip. If I throw in something extra, well, hey, it's extra. But in any case, follow the link, you'll get that. So let me just take a second to talk about why I have what I have. As I mentioned, 3-point lighting, and if you're new to photography and you don't know what that is, there's a bunch of videos on it on this channel, and I've done a bunch for Adorama. But effectively, 3-point lighting is a way that we can shape our subject and give them 3-dimensionality. Typically, it's some kind of what they call a key light, which is a main light, some kind of a light for separation or to light the background, and some kind of light to fill in the shadows. That's the most basic 3-point lighting, but there's all kinds of other things, right? So with this kit, I can easily accomplish that in a backpack I can carry myself. And in most cases, I'm going to be fine. These are not the most powerful lights in the world, but I'm a portrait photographer. I also do some fashion, and when I do big productions, I will rent additional lights. But for most of what I do, singles, doubles, full length, you can get away with a kit like this. 3 250s would be great, or 2 250s and a small light. Works fine. I know what some of you are saying, these are Profoto lights, they're really expensive. I don't have that kind of budget, or I don't need that. Okay, cool, because in the document that you'll get by signing up for the mailing list, I will give alternatives at a lower price point as well, and also lights that plug in as an option. So with all that being said, I would love to know what you're currently using, what your goals are, and if this seems like a good way to work, if you think 3 lights can work for you, or if you're concerned they might not be enough. Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can join my Patreon. There'll be a link to that in the description. There's also a link to the Discord channel down there. You guys can jump in on that Discord server. That's totally free, and talk photo with everybody. I hope this has been informative. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that goodness, and I'll talk to you soon.